And good day, everyone. We are live right now covering Trump inside the courtroom. In just moments, we expect him to arrive right there in that shot to the left of me and speak to the press. It's very important what he is saying. He is the defendant in this case. We will be listening into that as soon as we did it. Also, if we have a possibility before he arrives, I know I just saw his motorcade pull into the back of the courthouse. So if before that, if we can show yesterday's comments, that would be great. But I don't know if we'll have time. Coming up in the first 30 minutes, though, because this trial is expected to begin here at 8:30 a.m. It is 9:30 a.m. There Eastern time. 8:30 here is when it is expected to begin. 9:30 there. In New York, I'm joining you from Brooklyn, Arkansas. I am Jackson Mitchell. But first, coming up in the first 30 minutes, we're going to be talking about Judge Juan Merchan's having to take order back at his court after witness Robert Costello started commenting on rulings and different things of that nature that the judge was making. We also, I believe, we'll see if we can play that video, but let's work on that. Okay. My takeaways from the trial yesterday and Michael Cohen's testimony wraps up. And the people rest their case. We're expecting the defense to rest their case today, unless we have anything crazy. You never know in this case here. Yesterday having to take control of a witness, so we'll have to see exactly what occurs there. Okay, starting just following so many different things. So, for right now, thanks for joining me. I'm Jackson Mitchell. We are just 30 minutes away from the trial in which the prosecution accuses the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, of 34 counts of falsifying business records as they claim he cooked the books, as some people would refer to it as, after reimbursing key witness that we'll be talking about all day, Michael Cohen, for his hush money payment to porn star Stephanie Clifford, known as Stormy Daniels. First up, Judge Juan Merchan, the judge presiding in the case, has a retake order in the court after witness Robert Costello, the judge, having to ask the courtroom to be cleared of the jurors and the press, everyone having to leave the courtroom. I want to read off the transcript that has now been released of what exactly happened. So let's go ahead and show this. This is witness Robert Costello, who is an ex-legal aide to Michael Cohen, and he's expected to resume his testimony actually today, but the judge having to take back order because I'll read this to you guys. Yeah, I see that. What did you mean by that? Ms. Hoffinger, which is for the prosecution, objection. The court sustained. He then says, geez. Was that in response to something Michael Cohen had instructed you to do? Objection. Sustained. Yes, strike it. That's what the witness said. Geez and yes, strike it. Judge Merchan then says, counsel, let's take a minute. Can the jury please step out? The court officer then says, all rise. The jury exits. Mr. Costello, you remain seated, please. Remain seated. You may be seated. Mr. Costello, I would like to discuss proper decorum in my courtroom. That's when Costello says, but I'm sorry. Go ahead. I want to discuss proper decorum in my courtroom. Right. Okay. So when there is a witness on the stand, if you don't like my ruling, you don't say geez, okay? And then you don't say strike it, because I'm the only one that can strike testimony in the courtroom. Do you understand that? The witness? Robert Costello. I'm just going to refer to them by their last names here. Costello, I understand. Merchan, okay. And then if you don't like my ruling, you don't give me a side eye and you don't roll your eyes. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? Costello, I understand that. I understand what you're saying. Merchan? Sorry, guys. Merchan then says, okay, thank you. Let's get the jury back. Are you staring me down right now? Costello? No, I'm just wondering how. That's when Merchan clears the courtroom for the second time. He cleared the courtroom for the first time, but now he's clearing the courtroom for the second time. That's when Costello says, "Do you want me to answer your question?" That the sergeant then says, "Sir, please." The court officer says, "Step outside, please. Step out and step out to the side, please." And this goes away 4 pages of stuff I'm going to be reading to you guys. That is when the judge is then talking directly to Costello, directly to Bove, his lawyer here. We'll be talking about it. The courtroom is cleared of people in the audience by the court officers at this time. Judge Rochon says, "All right, let the record reflect that it's now 5 after 4. Let the record also reflect that court officers had great difficulty clearing the courtroom because the courtroom is made up primarily of the press. And I appreciate that the press wants to be present for every part of these proceedings. Therefore, this record is not sealed. The press will have access to this record. The fact that I had to clear the courtroom and that the court officers, including the captain, had great difficulty clearing the courtroom, and that there was argument back and forth between the press and including counsel for the press, goes to why I had to clear the courtroom in the first place. And that is, sir, your conduct is contemptuous right now. I'm putting you on notice that your conduct is contemptuous. If you try to stare me down one more time, I will remove you from the stand. I will strike his entire testimony. Do you understand me? That's when Mr. Bove, M.O. Bove, and I'm seeing the gates being moved. That means the president's going to come in any moment now. We'll go to that as soon as he does walk in. But that's when Mr. Bove, one of the defense lawyers, says, "Yes, Judge, I understand. Listen to the question and answer the question," Rochon says. "Costello, can I say something, please?" Rochon, no, this is not a conversation. And I've heard, I'm going to end it right there because I'm just reading the bottom of this. It says, "Same seats, guys. Same seats, please. Same seats." So I just wanted to read that off to you guys because I thought it was extremely important and interesting to even just hear that. The fact that a judge had to clear the court because a witness was responding to what the judge had been ruling on, whether that motion was sustained or yes, strike it, stuff like that. It's pretty crazy. I mean, we've seen people had to, warn witnesses, but it's never to the point where you have to clear the court and basically take order back in your court. We're going to turn now, though, to Michael Cohen. I believe the president's going to come at any moment now when I'm talking about this, though. So let's turn to Michael Cohen. The defense and prosecution finished questioning Michael Cohen. He testified to pieces of the hush money payment to Stormy Daniels, and yesterday we learned that he stole from the Trump Organization. One moment, please. Sorry about that, guys. He stole from the Trump Organization and so much more. He testified so much over 4 days, I believe it was, of testimony. So it's something I'm sure we're going to be talking about throughout this entire live. But I also want to go to I also want to talk for just a moment because we are still waiting for Trump to arrive. Well, he's arrived at the courthouse. I do believe so. He has arrived, but you do have to get up in the floors. I don't know, but I do know you have to go up in the house or in the courthouse, and so we could be seeing him any moment. I will be waiting for that though, and we will bring that to you as soon as he does walk in those doors. We'll go full over there and talk about it, and listen to him what he has to say, or if he even speaks to us. Okay. Now, the state did rest its case today. 2 of my 5 takeaways from today. The state rested its case. In 4 weeks of testimony, the prosecution attempted and in some ways did tell a story of alleged sex, schemes, and lies related to the 2016 election. Over 20 witnesses were called to the stand, and we are seeing the defense now has called 2 witnesses, Robert Costello being the second. The first one was a paralegal to Todd Blanche Law, and worked in this case. His job was to put together a spreadsheet. We learned all about that yesterday. Oh, he was just letting him through. Okay, I didn't know what was going on. Always have to watch for when they move those gates. That is usually, and they move it in like a certain formation every time, and that is when the president is going to walk up, and he walks up to the gates there. Now, Michael Cohen's testimony is now. That's my second takeaway here. Cohen telling a story in basically 4 full days of testimony of lies, steals, and on the payment to Stormy Daniels, and that so iconic catch and kill scheme. Then also one of my takeaways, my fourth takeaway, I believe, yeah, maybe or third takeaway is that defense witness we were just talking about, Robert Costello, when Judge Merchan had to take order back in his court. That was one of my key takeaways that I noticed, and I really needed to share that while we were on the air. Now, the possibility of Trump taking the stand does still loom, and that's one of my also takeaways is yesterday, I believe, I don't have the quote here in front of me, but I do know Alina Habba spoke, which is Trump's law spokesperson, Trump's law spokeswoman, I should say, spoke yesterday on Fox News saying that Trump could still testify. He just needs to listen to his lawyers. So he basically said something to the nature, I'm just paraphrasing here. We know he wants to, we know he can, we know, like, all that. Basically, he just needs to listen to his lawyers. I thought that was very key there. From Alina Habba, legal spokeswoman for Trump. And lastly, Blanche asked for the case to be dismissed. Merchan responding after lengthy arguments, and I'm going to read this here, quote, "You think he's going to fool 12 New Yorkers into believing his lies?" I thought that was very key. We're going to be getting into so much more later, though. Right now, we are standing by for Trump to speak inside the courtroom. He is expected to arrive, according to my knowledge, any moment now. He has already arrived at the courthouse. We saw his motorcade rolling into the back of the I saw it just before we came on the air at about like 7:40, 7:50 maybe. I am going to be checking over here. But today, the defense is expected to maybe call one more witness, and then they will rest their case. I don't know if they're going to call one more witness, or actually just rest with Robert Costello. It really depends kind of here, and then we're going to have to watch what happens afterwards, because I know it's expected to get really interesting, and I think it'd be interesting to have the whole rest of the week off. That would give Donald Trump his time to campaign as we wait to see maybe what the jury decides, and because closing arguments we already know they're going to be next week, so whatever happens after this, we'll see what happens here, not for the jury to decide, rather, but Trump could go campaign, as he's been saying. He's been, locked inside of a freezing cold courtroom and can't go campaign. So maybe that will give his wishes, depending on how long we see this ending part here. How long we do see them end. And I'm just checking my phone here. Okay. We do have a list here that's just coming in of Trump's courthouse guests. That's going to be his son, Don Trump Jr., former acting Attorney General Matt Whitaker, former FLAG, Florida Attorney General, I assume that means, Pam Bondi, Senator Eric Schmidt, Representative Daniel Webster, Representative Dan Muser, Representative Ronnie Jackson, Representative Tony Niels, Representative Dale Strong, Representative Maria Salazar, Sebastian Gorka, Chuck Zito, Joe Piscopo, and Bill White. Now, according to another source, I believe we saw Trey Gowdy out and about near the courtroom. That is according to another source. So, well, a source told me so far they've seen Trey Gowdy, but then they reported that the guest list and did not report Trey Gowdy on that list. So maybe not. He's not coming to the courtroom. Maybe he was just stopping by. Who knows? Okay, and that's per the Trump campaigns. At 9:14 a.m., which was 2 minutes ago, Susan Hoffinger for the prosecution, Joshua Steinglass, and Matthew Colangelo walk in offering a hearty good morning to their colleagues already in the courtroom, and in parentheses, America's favorite paralegals, trademark. Yeah, they have so many paralegals that are working these cases. It's crazy. And also something else to add as we kind of sit here and wait for Trump to get in there and see if he's going to speak to the media. But also something to add is that I am going to be when we're talking about evidence, I will do my absolute best to be able to pull it up. I don't know if I'll be able to show it to you guys, but I'll at least be able to explain it to you guys. And I need to take a note really quickly. It was. Excuse me. I apologize. Okay, let me see if I can change something really quickly here. Starting to do some work over here on this computer. I believe we're fixing to see him come in. They're getting ready, it appears, getting in their positions. Possibly. Yep. We are fixing to see him come in. Please stand by. Is it the president right there? I can't tell. I'm not sure exactly what we're reading on here. Here comes the president to speak. Let's go all the way over there. Listen in.
Well, thank you very much. Just to begin, so the news on inflation is it really is rampant. It's moving at a level like people have not seen. They don't seem to be able to cut it down. Biden has no control over what's happening. He started it with energy, and now it's taken on a life of its own. It's very sad. We'll get it fixed. I'd like to be out campaigning right now, but again, I'm going to be in here almost 5 weeks in court. They have no case. There's no crime. Every single legal expert, and I can say this again and again, and every time they come out, maybe at some point they'll come out and say, oh, we found something. But every single legal expert, Andy McCarthy, Jonathan Turley, Mark Levin, every one of them, Greg Jarrett, these are great talents. These are actually very brilliant guys, and they're not necessarily on my side historically over the years. But they're very talented people. They're legal scholars, highly respected. Every single person is saying there's no crime. There's no crime. It's a kangaroo court. There's never been anything like this that I've ever seen. Now, I had 2 other trials that were kangaroo courts also. It's stacked up. And hopefully appellate division will take care of those things because they're egregious. And the problem is that New York is really on trial itself. The whole world is watching. They're seeing what's happening. And you can't use conflicted judges. This is a conflicted judge, highly conflicted judge. And you just can't do that. You just cannot allow that to happen because you ruin the whole system. The whole system comes tumbling down. And New York, look, I love New York. This is where I grew up. I was born here. I grew up here. And I see what's happening with this judicial system. And it's just, they call it all kangaroos. And we just can't have it. And I think the appellate courts can take care of a lot of things, but this one shouldn't even get to an appellate court. This should be an easy ruling, and it should really be, and I think it would be great for Judge Marchand to rule from the bench and to terminate this witch hunt. And it needs it. It really needs decisiveness. Every single scholar says there's been no crime, he's done nothing wrong. And I'm fighting for 300 million people. I mean, I have no choice. It's not that I like doing this, sitting in an icebox all day for 7, 8, 9 hours. And it's a very cold room, I will tell you that. But I'm doing this because our country needs it. Our Constitution's under threat. Our country needs it. So here I am. I will be doing something in the morning and then probably coming back in the afternoon. And we'll be resting pretty quickly. Resting meaning resting the case. I won't be resting. I don't rest. I'd like to rest sometimes, but I don't get to rest. But we have a phenomenal case. We've won the case by any standard. Any other judge who would have thrown this case out. Any other judge would have thrown this case out. And I think that Juan Merchan would do himself and do the state and city a great service by doing what everybody knows should be done. And so we're going to go in. We'll have another little scrum in a little while, perhaps. It should end a little bit early today. We appreciate you suffering with us. Look, you've been with us for 5 weeks, and you see it. The crowds outside, we can't get, it's not a very big thing for us. We don't really care that much. But people want to get out there, and you have all police. The only people that are let out there is the radical left lunatics. And they put our people 4 or 5 blocks away. There are a lot of them, too. But I say that doesn't matter. What matters is what's going on in this courthouse. So thank you very much. We'll be back a little bit later. Thank you.
Sir, why did you post that video about the unified right? How did that get on your website?
Why won't you testify, Mr. Trump?
Okay, you were just listening and they're sort of turned down so we can actually hear the media. They're asking questions. He rarely answers them after he speaks. He usually does not answer those questions here. But this is Trump's criminal hush money trial, or Trump's criminal trial over the hush money payment. We are watching his team there. He's making a few, speaking to someone there, and now they are going to walk into the courtroom. Now, just earlier, we do have an update that was coming in. We have the guest list now, according to Trump's campaign. Don Trump Jr., we already read this list, but I'll read it again here. Don Trump Jr., actually, I have an idea. I don't know how this will look, so you just have to trust me here. I'm going to put this onto a lower third. Please stand by with me. I do not know how this is going to look. Here is the guest list. Yep, that's right. Don Trump Jr., Matt Whitaker, Pam Bondi, Senator Eric Schmidt, Representative Daniel Webster, Representative Dan Muser, Representative Ronnie Jackson, Representative Troy Nils, Rep. Dale Strong, Representative Maria Salazar, Sebastian Gorka, Chuck Zito, Joe Piscopo, and Bill White. That is the guest list. We'll flash that when we need to. If we need to flash our guest list again, we can. I think that's cool that we can put all those names in there without it being just too much for the system here. Are we having one moment, guys? A system here. Okay. Sorry, I just had to check something. We were having some technical difficulties here. There's the guest list on the bottom of your screen, guys. I'm just changing it here. That is Trump's guest list for the campaign. There you go. It takes up most of the screen there, but we'll flash it if we need to. That is today's Trump guest list as this trial gets underway. Now, earlier, I believe it was at 9:14, Susan Hoffinger, Joshua Steinglass, Matthew Colangelo walked into the courtroom offering a hearty, as it was explained by one of our sources at the courtroom, good morning to the colleagues, to the legal, all of that good stuff. We are going to be waiting here for any new updates. So I'm just getting all the... At 9:23, Trump has walked in. Immediately a response. Andrea Mitchell reports, point to her, and then mouth something I couldn't fully catch. Her entourage is huge today. It takes them a while to file in and find their seats. Wow. Okay. So we just got a report here that he walked in, pointed at Andrea Mitchell, which is an MSNBC reporter, and no relation, I do not believe so. Pointed at Andrea Mitchell and mouthed something. Definitely gonna put that here in my notes. I'm gonna go just searching up something here. Okay. I want to check something. I'm just gonna check something really quickly to see if we have anything coming from. So now at 9:28, the ever punctual Justice Merchan has walked in. All rise. Steinglass makes introductions for the prosecutions and Bo for her defense. Updates are going to be continuously coming in throughout the morning here. This is what it's going to look like. We're going to have this obviously beside me all morning, and we'll be providing updates as they come and from our sources in the courtroom. So I believe I got to everything in here, minus playing that Trump video. Minus playing the Trump video I wanted to, but I know we are gonna have so much other time. We may play yesterday's video if we absolutely need to here, but at 9:28, Justice Merchan has walked in, so I need to change these times anyways. Guys, I may be talking in Eastern time, but I'm meaning 8. Because this trial is in, I believe, what time was that? 8:28? Okay, so to be continued on jury instruction because things are getting started in courtroom 15:30. Okay, sorry. Sorry, guys, I was reading. Some of these people are posting their notes and different things of that nature, so we can read them all. She was just doing a tweet on jury instructions, and then she went to start. She said to be continued because they were doing the all rise, and Justice Merchan sweeps into the room. A court officer retrieves the witness, Robert Costello. So Robert Costello is fixing to walk into the courtroom. No motions this morning. You know, oftentimes we see, like, each morning, it's pretty much has been usually a ritual. They come in, they do some motions on maybe some different things that have been said, as in like, okay, this needs to be done, this needs to be done today, that needs to be done today. But today we are not seeing that. They are automatically getting the witness here, following a bunch of reporters. Now, I want to read off some of Trump's comments earlier in the hallway. He said, quote, "This ruling should be easy." I believe he said the judge was contempt, highly contempt, as he likes to refer to it. He'll begin to say contempt, highly contempt. But he basically, yesterday, I wish we could play his comments from yesterday morning. I don't believe we have them, but yesterday morning he was basically saying it was a bookkeeper that put them in as legal expenses, claiming that he said that they were put in as legal expenses. I mean, but he claims, I'm paying a lawyer, so they are legal expenses. But it was Michael Cohen personal, right? Am I correct to say that it was Michael Cohen personally that he was paying? He was reimbursing it because Michael Cohen is the one that paid hush money, and paying hush money is not illegal. It's what we're in court today for. Why we're following this is because of the fact that I'm gonna have to cut myself off here. We're gonna go back to that. Costello now is taking the stand. He has explained to me in a light gray suit and a polka dotted tie. Trump has selected a gold tie today. We saw that earlier. The jury has now entered the room. Okay, we're just getting started. It is 8:33, 9:33 Eastern time, so we're just now getting up and running. We have a while to go. It's weird to think that we're just now getting started and like we're gonna be here until 4 o'clock today, 5 p.m. for those in Eastern time zone. While we continue to wait, this reporter and said this, Steinglass stands up and asks whether Justice Merchan would like to ask the jury their availability for next Wednesday. Merchan agrees. More from just outside the courtroom a few moments ago. Now, I would like to also note, sorry, I'm reading those notes from the courtroom earlier, and I never even talked about them really because we started getting into all of this. But Donald Trump did say that they would be resting soon, and he then went on to say, I don't get rest. He said he was like, "We'll be resting soon," talking about the case, and it was like, "I won't be resting soon. I don't get rest. I wish I did, but I don't." It's kind of what he was saying there, and pretty interesting comments from him. We'll also be taking to the big screen later, but for now we'll be doing that after lunch. I believe is what I'm thinking. We'll be taking you over to the big screen after lunch, but for now we have not done that. But I also have, and I just don't want to read everything that I have right now just yet. And the reason for that is I don't want to be out of content to share to you guys when it gets a little slow. So I do have 2 news stories here that I do want to get to in a minute on who has testified and different things like that. But as we're just getting started here, I would definitely want to keep. Doing all this. Let me get off this phone. I need to be on my other one. Okay, the jury has now entered. We learned that. And prosecutor Susan Hoffinger is continuing her cross. I'm sure in just a moment we'll get a look at the questions. But before the jury came in, which I'd reported earlier from another reporter, the prosecution was asking Judge Merchan if they will ask the jury about their availability for next Wednesday for deliberations, because closing arguments are going to occur Tuesday, and Wednesday is the off day for during the week for the trial. So we'll see about all of that and what kind of happens here. And I want to play this. Oh, that is the wrong. Apologies. Okay, there we go. Sorry. And guys, I want to point something out here because I know you're gonna be like, "Huh, what are you doing?" My phone here was right in front of me. I'm trying to figure out how to get the auto walk off. When we left off yesterday, Susan Hoffinger, who was resuming her cross-examination of defense witness Robert Costello, who we were just talking about earlier in the 8 o'clock hour, had a little bit of a fiery moment, you could say. But she says they left off, and we're speaking about ultimately another lawyer hired Cohen to to give him a little bit of reputation is what it appears. They used the acronym REP. To represent, yeah, okay, sorry. Got that wrong there. She starts when we left off yesterday. Michael Cohen's choice to select another attorney, not Costello, to represent him in the 2018 Southern District of New York investigation. And while we're kind of waiting for updates, and we're going to be updating you guys okay, here we go. Okay, we have the questions here. Susan Hoffinger is back up for a continued cross of Costello. Hoffinger, you were upset that Cohen, referring to Cohen here, did not pay you. Costello, I did. Hoffinger, do you recognize this email? Costello, yes. Hoffinger, you provided this to our office. I provided a lot of emails to your office. Costello answers, Costello is staring off with an attitude already, according to a reporter inside that courtroom. And guys, I want to go back to this transcript if we can here. It's somewhere in here. Let me find it. Be patient here. I want to go back to this transcript of what happened yesterday. I'm just going to read a piece from it. Yes, I see that. That is, yes, I see that. What do you mean by that? Is a question there. Ms. Hoffinger then objects. The court sustained. Then we have Costello then say, geez, was that in response to something Michael Cohen had instructed you to do? Objection, sustained. He then says, yes, strike it. That led to the point where Judge Rashad was angry, as court reporters explained. He had to order that everyone leave the courtroom, including the press. And apparently there were arguments among press members already, and that's the reason he had to do it, because the witness was, being a little testy with the judge, as I explained it. Now they are showing evidence, People's 203. I'm going to see if I can find that for you guys. People's 203, Hoffinger, it's an email. Hoffinger says, you sent this email. I'm going to read it for the jury. Quote, I am sure you saw the news about that Rudy is joining the Trump legal team. I told you that my relationship with Rudy could be very, very useful to you. Costello answers, yes. I'm going to see if I can find People's, 203, okay. Okay, hold up. Okay, so now it says Costello. Okay, hold on. Let me try to figure this out. Yeah, okay. Costello denies again. So Hoffinger shows another email, 512B. Sorry, let me see if I can find it. I've actually only been able to find one piece of evidence in here. Because a lot of times they enter it the day of or something of that nature, enter it like very. Okay, let's talk about this for just a minute. So now he denies again about that email. So Hoffinger shows another email, Costello to Citron about Giuliani joining Trump's legal team. All more reason for Cohen to hire me. As I mentioned to him in our meeting, these emails could not be more perfect. Okay, one sec. I need to go back to that first email we're talking about. Costello says that he didn't tell Cohen about his closeness with Giuliani. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to piece things together here. So according... And I apologize. I'm not very sure what he is barking at. I wanted to apologize for that, though. Okay. Sorry about that. So an email was showed. Costello denied whatever that email had said. I'm trying to figure out what it said. Hoffinger for the prosecution then shows another email about Rudy Giuliani joining the Trump legal team. That was after Michael Cohen was leaving, announced that he was leaving. So now we're viewing another email from April 2018 in which Costello tells Cohen that Giuliani wanted to thank him for opening a, quote, back channel of communication. And I want to look up exactly... Oh, I'm not even typing. The general definition here is conversations occurring in real time alongside the primary speakers, but I believe... They are referring to something else here. I want to read off a story from CNN here. Donald Trump continues to wield enormous power on Capitol Hill as House Republicans. Okay, it's a little bit of it. Okay, yeah. It's just primary communication according to all of this. Okay, now... So the email actually, and I have a picture of it here that I'm reading off here. It's attorney-client community privilege. I spoke with Rudy. Very, very positive. You were loved. If you want to call me, I will give you the details. I told him everything you asked me to. And he said they knew that there was never a doubt, and they are in our corner. Rudy said this communication channel must be maintained. He called it crucial and noted how reassured they were that they had someone like me, whom Rudy has known for so many years in this role. Sleep well tonight. You have friends in high places, Bob. P.S. Some very positive comments about you from the White House. Rudy noted how that followed my chat with him last night, sent from my iPad. So now I'm wondering if when they say very positive comments from the White House, who do they mean? I mean, there's some people that work in the White House. That means Trump. That's what I would think. Sorry, we're just seeing so many different emails here. So, okay, here are some questions about that last email that I was just reading off to you guys. Question: This email is about your goal to have Cohen follow instructions by Giuliani and the president. Hold up, let me. Yeah, this is that email, okay? Answer from Costello, no. Not to follow instructions, but to get everyone on the same page. Because Cohen had been complaining that Giuliani Hoffinger says thanks, but he plows. Wait, hold up. Complaining that Giuliani Hoffinger says thanks, but he plows on. Had been making comments. Wow, okay. So we're seeing another little incident where Costello gets testy. Hoffinger says thanks, and that's the answer she needed. She's done. She doesn't need you to keep talking anymore, and he keeps going. So now we are on another email from 2018 from Costello to his law partner that says, "quote Our issue is to get Cohen on the right page without giving the appearance that we are following instructions from Giuliani or the president," Costello wrote. So I'm waiting here for the questions from that email. We will wait for that for just a moment to see what questioning and answering we are getting from that exact email there that we were just reading off. It's going to be interesting to kind of see, the bigger picture here. What is the point that they're trying to gather? It appears right now we're talking, why did, the relationship between Costello and Cohen and why Giuliani was picked and why Cohen did not pick Costello to be over him. It appears in a way a little bit of discrediting here of why maybe their witness or why maybe at the time, Michael Cohen did not pick Costello to represent him. But we're now talking about a bunch of different emails. Okay, let's go back just a second here. Okay, so after, I'm going to read this last answer here from a question. Okay, question. This email is about your goal to have Cohen follow instructions by Giuliani and the president. The answer from Costello, no, not to follow instructions, but to get everyone on the same page. Because Cohen had been complaining that Giuliani, Hoffinger then replies, thanks, but he plows on, had been making comments in the press that Cohen didn't approve of. Okay. Hold up, let me. Okay, so now it really I feel as if the prosecution here is developing a back channel that, or not developing a back channel, but developing what a back channel is, what that means, how it was working between Cohen, Costello, and Giuliani. Also, let me put a sticky note on these papers here. Okay. We have another tense moment here. You just moment. Okay, another tense moment on that last email that they were just showing. You felt like you had been played by Cohen. Answer, you want me to explain it? No, thanks. You wanted to get paid, right? No. You wanted to? So you do want me to explain it. Merchant then tells Costello there's a pending question. Okay, and another analyst from inside that courtroom says Hoffinger is displaying all these to show that Costello was encouraging a communication back channel with Trump. So now we're really at this point. She's displaying a bunch of emails, more emails from Costello to Cohen. It's a full court press. He talks about the liberal media, quote, they want you to cave, they want you to fail, and tries to convince Cohen to talk to him. This is the alleged, quote, pressure campaign that Cohen spoke about. Let me put all of this here. Sorry, guys. You would think just having a small desk sitting here where I'm at would be enough, but my desk is full of papers and all kinds of different things. It's crazy. So I'm gonna organize it here. But I also want to go through during our first break. I'm gonna go through the status of New York v. Trump from Axios, but I'm also gonna go over I'm also gonna go over who has testified so far, also from Axios. And right now, I'm just cleaning off my desk here. Okay. So from another email here, which was, I believe, June 2018 email. I'm going to read the email here. Quote, I hope I am wrong, but it seems to both Jeff and I that perhaps we have been played here. I want to see, guys, if I can share some of these things with you guys. So hold up really quickly. I'm going to attempt to. We may have some issues with our feed. Our video feed to my left of me. I apologize about that. We just may have some technical difficulties with that. But I'm going to see if I can show you guys this email and be able to share it to you guys. But that email says, quote, it's from June 13th, 2018. Costello wrote, quote, I hope I am wrong, but it seems to both Jeff and I that perhaps we have been played here. The prosecutor then begins asking a series of questions that we have here for you guys. I believe it was, in June of 2018, you were angry that Cohen was playing you. Angry? No, that's wrong. That's the wrong word. Hoffinger then says, didn't you believe he was also playing President Trump? No, I don't think that's correct. Let me display this email that's being shown right now if you'll stand by for me here. Hoffinger then asked Costello about his testimony that he only had Cohen's interest in mind, not Trump's. Costello stands by his testimony. Okay, I want to show you that email that was just being displayed here. So I'm just typing in my notes here. Okay, now we moved on to an email from June 22nd, 2018. Um, uh, the, the subject line is Michael Cohen. It says, quote here, it says, quote, Cohen has to know this, yet he continues to slow play us, and the president, is he totally nuts? I'm sorry, let me read this off again, now that sorry. Cohen has to know this, yet he continues to slow play us, and the president. Is he totally nuts? There's 3 question marks. That continues. What should I say to this bleep hole? He is playing with the most powerful man on the planet. Wow. Okay. Hoffinger says, this email speaks for itself. Does it not? It does. And if we have any more emails that I'm able to show you guys, I will show it. But one moment, guys. Oh, apologies. Okay, now we are... Okay, another question here. Yesterday, you were asked if you cared about Trump's interests when you were representing Michael Cohen. You said no. Your obligation was to Cohen. You recall that? He answered yes. Hoffinger, you lost control of Cohen, correct? After some back and forth? Costello, no. I answered no. Answer, did you lose control when he pled guilty? Answer, I didn't. I believe there's a mistake there. Question, did you lose control when he pled guilty? Answer, I didn't have control when he pled guilty. Question, do you have any animosity toward Cohen? Answer, no. Okay, now I believe we're on, and okay, no. We're still on the same email, I believe. So now we see Emil Bove calmly pulling up an email from Cohen to Costello in which Cohen said, quote, as you do not or have never represented me in this or any other matter, is that true or false? Bove asked. So have we changed here? False, Costello answers quickly. So have we changed? Oh, nothing further. Okay, so now we're going back to redirect examination. So now Bove calmly pulls up an email from Cohen to Costello in which Cohen said, quote, as you do not or have never represented me in this or any other matter. Is that true or false? Bove asked. False, Costello answered quickly there. Okay, I want to show you guys what their what they were at least showing, and read it off to you guys, and then go back to the questions that Bove had asked. It is a waiver agreement that's available on the docket. So I want to pull up the docket ASAP. A lot of times as we're speaking, they are entering things into evidence, so we don't have those immediately to show you guys. But we are able to show you this one, I do believe so. Sorry, it's verifying if I'm a real person or what. So I want to show you the waiver agreement, and then we'll go back to the questions that were asked. Here is that agreement. There we go. We had to change here. Let me full screen it really quickly. Actually, we'll just do this. Okay, so now you are seeing that waiver agreement, and I believe I'm going to figure out which part they're reading here. Now we have been played here. Okay, that's an email. Let's go back here. He displays. Okay, let's go. It says Costello has, quote, never represented Cohen in this or any other matter. This is what it looks like, guys. Oh, you can't even see it. I'm control Fing right now. Trying to see if I can find exactly what they're saying, but somewhere in this document it says, I was previously, in connection with the investigation, as well as this investigation during that period, I was represented by MW&E. I was approached by Robert Costello's law firm. Costello sought to represent me in connection to my S-Way. I declined to sign retainer agreement and informed that I was already representative, although I subsequently had several other conversations and communications with Costello. At no time did I sign a retainer or otherwise agree to retain Costello, nor did I ever consider Costello or any lawyer at DHC to be my attorney, although I do not believe that any of my communications with Costello or any lawyers at DHC are subject to attorney-client privilege. Okay. Oh, okay, so there's that. So now I believe, were you concerned that you were Representative Cohen, but he wasn't signing the retainer agreement as both? Yeah, sure, says Costello. Costello then talks about an email in which he tells his law partner Cohen that Cohen played him. That's what we're on to now, is an email that basically shows that uh, his law partner Cohen had quote played them. He says that every time his partner Cintron asked Cohen about signing the retainer agreement, that he would delay signing it, and Costello was concerned about representing Cohen without a signed retainer. And if we can, I don't know, guys, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna move my camera down just a little bit. I don't know how far we can go down, simply because my phone is right here that I'm reading all of this information off of. Oh, we're having some trouble with focus here. Hold up. There we go. Okay. So now, Bove notes that Costello's, quote, friends in high places email begins, quote, attorney-client privilege. Costello confirms that he believed that was true, and Cohen didn't dispute characterization in a follow-up email before cutting ties with him. At least one member of the jury takes note as Bove questions Costello's. Most others just watch on closely, pen in hand. I think we have that email marked attorney-client privilege. I want to read to you guys. That's kind of like it says attorney-client communication privilege. I spoke with Rudy, very, very positive. You are loved. That's the email that I was just reading, where he says, in the bottom of it says, P.S. Some very positive comments about you from the White House. And I assume when he says White House, he is talking about the president of the United States at the time. In this time, in 2018, Donald Trump. That's what I assume he is talking about there. One of the questions here, did Cohen write back and say, hey, you're not my attorney? No. So now they're back to discussing the back channel that the prosecution had been discussing. So now we're back to that, and guys, you can see my phone right here. This is what I'm looking at. I'm getting my information from. So if you see me looking down here, that's what I'm doing, and then I have the computer right here. So that's why I rarely look at the camera because I'm always looking somewhere else, putting in different information and getting it all out to you guys. So both now is showing an email from Costello that we were just talking about, marked attorney-client privilege. Now they're back to discussing the back channel that the prosecution had finished on discussing there. A word first used by Rudy Giuliani, who gave the reason that Cohen didn't want this to be public. So this back channel was basically, and I apologize, I don't know if there's a lower third, which what you guys are seeing. Okay, well, I apologize for that. You can actually just see my phone because there was no lower third. But Cohen didn't want this to be marked. So now, okay, there was one. Okay. Boom now is showing an email that what we're just talking about. Anyways, this back channel was between Michael Cohen, Robert Costello, who is testifying today, or he's as a witness. He's a witness in this case, and he's talking about the back channel now, with the redirect from Emil Bove on the defense, and then we have Rudy Giuliani. So Rudy Giuliani, Michael Cohen, and Robert Costello, who is testifying today. They're talking about this back channel of communication they had so that Trump could talk to each of them. So it was like it was kind of it was weird, as in they talked through each other. That's kind of how it worked. It was interesting. Okay, let's go to. Now, Bo tries to ask about Costello saying, quote, I will not pester you in an email to Cohen. Hofflinger objects, says beyond the scope. The Judge Merchan, sustained. Both with hint of annoyance says this was inquired about on cross-examination. He tries to keep going, then the parties go too. Okay, so then the parties go too. They went to a sidebar. After a sidebar, Bo pulls up People's 208, the long email Hoffinger asked about minutes ago, especially a line in which Costello says something is totally up to you to Cohen. Okay, let's go. Okay, here are the questions here. Uh, Here's what happened a little bit before these things here. Did you pressure Cohen to do anything? No. Did you ever have control over Cohen? Completely not. Does a lawyer ever control? Objection, sustained. I want to ask you about how you practice law. Objection, sustained. So I believe that is what happened, right? This what led to that sidebar there. Both the parties went. They had a quick sidebar for just a few moments. I believe they're back now. And it was explained here as when that was going on. He says, Bo, with hint of annoyance, says, "quote This was inquired about on cross examination," talking about the email in which Costello says, "quote I will not pester you." Let me wait and see what we got going on here. Okay, now we are back to the June 2018 email. This one in which Costello says, quote, you have the ability to make that communication when you want to. Question from Emil Bove. Did you ever pressure Michael Cohen? No. Did you ever have control over Cohen? Completely not. That's what we were just reading. The next question's there. Okay, after another two objection, Costello looks askance at Merchan, then back forward and subtly rolls his eyes and shakes his head. It's a shade of yesterday's Costello, but ultimately he restrains himself. Yeah, we've talked about this multiple times now, but yesterday, uh, Judge Merchan ended up having to basically evacuate the courtroom, pretty much, He ordered everyone have to go out, including the press, and it's mainly full of press, so they all have to grab all of their computers, all of their items, and get out of the room. And this was all because that Costello became kind of testy with the judge, and he was responding to objections. And as we just see here, after two objections, which I can go back and read if you would like for me to do, but Costello looks askance at Mershon, then back forward, and subtly rolls his eyes and shakes his head. Okay, more questions and answers here. Question. Every document you provided to the prosecution a year ago. I did. What was your purpose in meeting with Cohen after the Regency Hotel meeting to discuss legal problems? Did you someone continue to discuss retainer agreement after that meeting? Yes. It was May 3rd at our office. Things you've said at this trial have been known to these people. Talking about the prosecution. Yes. Now Bob is done. Two more questions from Hoffinger here. You said that you gave Cohen a retainer agreement weeks after a meeting with him on May 3rd. Or answer here. Citron gave it to him, but I was in the room. Hoffinger shows Costello the retainer agreement. Cohen never signed it. Correct. And he never paid you. Correct. And that's it for Costello. The defense has rested. Trump will not testify. That is so. Right now, we have a little bit breaking news update here. The defense has rested. Trump will not testify in our live coverage here on Brooklyn News of Trump in the courtroom here. The defense has rested now. Trump will not testify. We're going to follow through with updates here. What happens? Okay, Mershon is now addressing the jury. Normally, you'd hear summations now, but in a case like this, summations will take a while, as will his jury instructions, which he predicts will take an hour. Because we're meeting only today and Thursday, Mershon says there's no way we could do what needs to be done in cohesive manner, and it could be broken up. Best thing would be adjourn now until Tuesday. At that time, they'll hear summations, then jury charge, then deliberations. So we'll see if they adjourn. I'm going to read this off again. To the defense's rest, Trump will not testify. And he then gives a little bit of an instruction here. Judge Mershon says, because we're only meeting today and Thursday, because tomorrow is Wednesday, that is their day off. And then Friday, they're going to be off for the Memorial Day weekend. I do believe so. We do have a new update, I believe. Okay, so I'll read the full thing. Kind of what he said. He said, Mershon is now addressing the jury. Normally you hear summations now, but in a case like this, summations will take a while as his jury instructions, which he predicts will take an hour. Because we're meeting only today and Thursday, Mershon says there's no way we could do what needs to be done in a cohesive manner. It would be too broken up. The best thing would be to adjourn now until Tuesday. At that time, they'll hear summations, then the jury charge, then deliberations. No new updates here just yet. We'll have to see what happens. And guys, I think if they were to adjourn, it is only 9:16, 10:16 there. So, but now we're getting no new updates. It's silent here as I wait for an update. I do have some papers I want to read here before we, if they do adjourn, I will read both of these to you all. But I can change a few things. Now we are over with the. I believe we're over with the defendant's case now. Okay, we do have a new update here. Closing arguments will take place on Tuesday. He does not believe they will complete both closings by 4:30 p.m. So he has asked the jurors to please stay late on Tuesday. Uh, the jury is excused until next week after Memorial Day. So it appears we are going to adjourn for the day here. Let's wait just a moment here to see what happens. But the jury has been excused until next week after Memorial Day. So they are getting a long time to be thinking about this case. Yeah, they're closing the gates, so I believe we're fixing to have somebody walk out. We'll wait just a second here. I believe we are fixing to see. What happens here? Okay. The jurors exit, but the parties remain. The plan is for the parties to take time now to continue working on the proposed jury charges. Then we'll reconvene at 2:15 p.m. for the pre-charge conference. So it's 1:15 here. And if you are not a big law person, well, we are really, really getting to see how it all works, how a trial goes on, what all occurs. While the jury is excused, there's things that the lawyers have to do. What are they going? We have to look at certain documents and certain different things there. So right now, what we are saying is now we're all excused until 2:15, when we're pick up the charging conference. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. Here on Brooklyn News. I have a lot of documents I want to read off to you, but if we're going to be back at 2:15 and we're going to be on this more of a less so quick going process of where I can provide you so much information, I want to give you a quick hour recap. And I don't know if we want to stay on the air the whole entire time and just leave you on a shot of the courthouse, which I do believe we can get. We don't have it right now, but we can get it. Everyone's excused, so now we're seeing everyone walk out here. And the feed is a little laggy here. Okay. Okay, we're gonna take that off really quickly here. We will work with that, get that feed a little better for you guys. Everyone is excused. So now Emil Bove has said, sorry about getting too close to him there, but do we have the court's permission to file the request documents, presumably meaning the proposed jury instructions? Justice Merchan said, what we can do is mark it as court exhibit. Okay. What we're going to do here, I don't want to leave you on that shot. So we're going to go ahead and end it, and then we will come back. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in this first hour. We're going to be breaking down. Actually, we can do that right now. We'll break down what's happened in this first hour. My notes so far, starting at 8:14 a.m. when Susan Hoffinger, Joshua Steinglass, and Matthew Colangelo walked in. Then President Trump had a lot of people for his campaign, had a lot of people that came in. 8:28 when Merchan took his seat. Robert Costello continued his testimony. No morning motions, as we've seen earlier. Susan Hoffinger talked Wednesday for deliberations, asked Merchan to ask about the jury's availability. Costello resumes his testimony. According to reporters inside the courtroom, he did still seem to have an attitude as he did a little bit yesterday when the Judge Sean had to stop and try to get to court in his courtroom. In cross-examination, Hoffinger asks and develops more about the back channel between Juliana Costello and Cohen. That is going to end our coverage here on Brooklyn News. I want to thank all of you so very, very much for tuning in. We will be right back here at probably 1 p.m. Everything is going to pick back up at 1:15, so we're going to be back here at 1 p.m. We'll be back with so much more coverage on all of this. Go grab you a cup of coffee, something to eat. Have a great afternoon. I'll see you all back here at 1 p.m.